What is up, guys? Yanfei here. I just want to make this video to summarize the 1.5 live stream sneak peek that just happened today, just in case you guys don't want to watch a 50-minute long video and just want to know the main points as well as a little bit more in-depth detail about these things. Alright, really quickly, we're just going to go briefly over the characters that are going to be appearing in 1.5. The two new characters are going to be Eula and Yanfei, and then we're also going to have a Zhongli repeat that everybody's been excited for. We're not going to really talk on the characters too much. I will showcase their honey impacts on another video, as well as link them down below and talk about the characters, if you should pull or not. But ultimately, Eula is going to be a cryo Claymore user that is going to be specialized in physical DPS, where her auto attacks are physical, she doesn't convert herself, and her skills are cryo. She is going to be stacking physical damage with her abilities, with getting passes for increased Phys and all that kind of stuff. Yanfei is kind of known as a 4-star Klee or 4-star Ningguang. She'll be auto-attacking to generate stacks, these little orbitals you see here. And then when she does her charge stack, it'll consume all the stacks to deal more damage, as well as consume less stamina. Zhongli also will be appearing, as you can see here. He's going to have some sort of story quest going along in 1.5. It's not known exactly which one's going to be first, but it's likely that Zhongli is going to be first, and then Eula is going to be appearing afterwards. You can see here that it says Yanfei will also appear in the event wish Gentry of the Hermitage, which is going to be Zhongli, so Yanfei will be part of Zhongli's banner if you guys do want to go for that. I do want to briefly touch on the materials required for Eula. She is going to need the dandelion seeds, as well as these masks from the hilly trails, and the new cryo hypostasis boss material. The books she's going to use are the resistance books and the hilly trail masks once again. And the upgrade material for Talents Pass 6 are going to be the new weekly boss that we'll talk about later. Yanfei is going to be a Pyro Catalyst user, and her upgrade materials are going to be Treasure Hoarder insignias as well as Knock Jades. The boss material is going to be the Primo Geo Bishop boss material, and the books required for her talents are going to be gold books, and then it's going to require Treasure Hoarder material, and the material for Pass 6 is going to come from the new weekly boss as well. Now, as the last bit for the characters, I really don't want to influence how you guys play the game and how you guys summon, but I do just want to say that Zhongli is the best 5-star character in the game, and waifus are going to be plentiful in this game. I know Eula is very sexy, waifu, whatever it is, but also there's going to be possibly Inazuma in the near future. I don't think it's going to be in 1.6, but it could be 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. As you see here on the bottom right, it is actually another character that is like sneak peeked. It's a friend of Raiden or Ball or the Electro Archon, and this right here in the live stream was an Inazuma sneak peek. They did only really show concept art of like the areas, but I'm sure they are working on it as we speak. In regards to this sneak peek character, there was nothing really said in the Chinese live stream about her other than the fact that she was a friend of the Electro Archon and that she is a fox spirit, and Zhongli refers to her as the fox maiden. Now, I will be summoning for C0 Eula just like every other limited character, just so I can give you my honest review about the character in case some of you guys are on the fence about it, if you guys want to pull for Zhongli or save for the possible Inazuma characters of Ayaka, Ball, and that other Fox Spirit character. And lastly, before we get on with the rest of the video, I just want to say that Chasm is not in 1.5. It was not in the beta test, and this weekly boss, which was kind of expected to be in Chasm, is actually on the west side of Liyue. Alright, in 1.5, there's going to be a new 5-star Claymore that is going to be part of its own exclusive weapon banner, as well as 2 new artifact sets. These artifact sets are going to be in the same dungeon, but first let's talk about the Claymore. This Claymore is going to be a Phys damage Claymore, and it's going to have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Text effect, where it's going to be a millennial movement weapon, just like Elegy of the End, and it's going to give 16% increased attack base, and when you hit a target 4 times with normal or charge attacks, you will get a buff that's going to apply to the entire party. It's going to give your party 12% increased normal attack speed and 20% increased attack. These millennial effects from Elegy of the End and Songbroken will not share together, as well as the other future millennial weapons. You can only have 1 millennial buff at a time. I really don't think you should be pulling for this weapon unless you really want the 4-star weapons on the banner, but this weapon would be great for somebody who's a Beidou main or a Razor main or a Eula main in the future. But weapon banners are all scams, so I wouldn't bother pulling. Alright, now let's talk about the artifact sets. This first set is basically going to be Zhongli's support set, where the 2-piece set bonus is going to be 20% increased HP, and the 4-piece bonus is going to be anytime your elemental skill deals damage, whether it's on-field or off-field, you'll be giving a buff to your allies, which gives 20% increased attack and 30% increased shield strength for 3 seconds, and it can occur every 0.5 seconds. Now, there is a little bit of talk in the community if this set is even worth using on Zhongli, because yes, it does give 20% increased HP, as well as a little bit of attack and shield strength to your allies, but it does only last 3 seconds. If your pillar does get destroyed, if the monsters move away from the pillar, you will only be able to do it every 12 seconds. You can get C1 Zhongli to help remedy this, but I don't think C1 Zhongli is worth the money or the freemium gems for it. You could also end up using multiple Geo characters to proc multiple construct pulses to help, but ultimately if you did want the attack buff, you could always run 4-piece Noblesse Oblige, or maybe even 4-piece Petra, or 2-piece Petra, 2-piece Noblesse. Your shields are always so thick, as well as the cooldown is so short that you could always recast it, that you don't really need the stronger shields from this set bonus. Now this other set is a physical set, where the 2-piece set bonus is going to increase your physical damage by 25%, as opposed to 15% the other sets usually give, and the 4-piece bonus is going to be anytime your elemental skill hits an opponent, your attack is going to be increased by 9% for 7 seconds. This effect can stack up to 2 times, but can only be procced every 0.3 seconds. And when 2 stacks are achieved, your 2 set bonus will be doubled, so you'll have a total of 50% increased physical damage, as well as 18% increased attack. These 2 new artifact sets are going to be placed in a new domain that's going to be on the top left of Dragon Spine. If you're familiar with the artifact farming route, it is near that artifact spot right here, so you're going to be able to teleport to this domain and walk over rather than use a portable waypoint from now on. There are going to be 2 new hangout events, one for Diona and one for Noelle. If you guys care about hangout events, there are going to be a few new story quests where it's going to have one for Zhongli and one for Eula. Really quickly, if you weren't aware, there is going to be a new weekly boss fight. It's going to be on the west side of Liyue. His name is Ejtaha. And since we are on the topic of weekly bosses, there is going to be an update 1.5 where the first 3 weekly bosses that you do is going to cost half the resin out of the 4 weekly bosses that we have. So instead of 60 costs, it's going to cost 30. As you can see here, there's going to be a limit of 3 out of 3. Alright, next on the agenda is the new Cryohypostasis World boss. This boss is going to cost 40 resin like normal, and it's going to drop boss ascension materials that are going to be required for ascension. It's going to give cryo crystals and the new material that Eula is going to require, as well as maybe some other future characters. Alright, the last new big monster that was showcased was the Abyss Lector. This is going to be available on floor 12 of the Abyss in chamber 3 presumably. One big feature coming to 1.5 is going to be the housing system. It's going to be called Serenity Pot, and it's going to allow you to have 3 different areas you could choose to have your home in, and you're going to spawn a little teapot and interact with it to get sucked into that world. You're going to be able to choose between the Floating Abode, Emerald Peak, and Cool Isle, and in there's going to be a little isle in a teapot named Tubby. He's going to be your little hub to do different things. You're going to have Trust Rank, which is going to be similar to the Tree in Dragonspine or Reputation in Mondstadt, where you're going to build up your trust to get different bonuses and rewards. In order to build up your trust rank, you're going to have to do various tests such as building up furnishings. You're going to have to go around the world and cutting down trees to go get logs to go make these furnishes. And then you can put these inside your house and then go and also change your building structure and your world. You can also put pets inside your housing area. But the thing ultimately is that there's not a whole lot of functionality outside of the shop for housing. It's not like you can plant like cooking material, you can't go and get mining nodes or any such type of thing. You can plant trees as you can see here, but you can't even chop these trees down. And no, you can't pet your animals either. But the housing area will have BP missions, so you can help build up your BP a little bit faster or easier, as well as it will help your adventure rank supposedly. Although if you are already AR-55, it's probably not going to help you a whole lot. You can also visit your friend's housing area if you guys want to showcase your houses to each other, so that's a little cool thing, a little bit of Animal Crossing style. You can see here, these are some of the shop items you can get with your housing currency, and also you can see that at the bottom that it does have a cooldown as to when the shop does reset, so these are going to be renewable items. There is also going to be a traveling salesman type of thing that is going to have these items you can purchase at certain times when he is available. Alright, now let's move on to the events. You can see here that there's a little socket wheel that you see on screen, and this is going to be a customization type of thing that's going to be put into Genshin temporarily. This could always be a permanent move if the surveys and beta testers talk that they do want it as a permanent addition to Genshin Impact. You're basically going to be collecting a bunch of fragments throughout this event progressively and filling out your wheel to have a more streamlined playstyle, where maybe you want to buff out your plunge style, or maybe you want to buff out your freestyle, whatever it is. There's also a system called Motive Force, which is going to take your 3 highest level characters that you offer up, and you can always use 3 friend units as well, so you're probably going to use 3 level 90s. On top left, you can see there's a single player and co-op configuration as well too, and throughout this event, when you play out, you're going to go and do these little tasks and fight these monsters to go get a fragment. Ultimately, you're going to end up fighting like Rune Guards, Rune Graders for some parts of the event, and at the very end, you're going to go and play against like some Abyss Heralds and such, but you should have enough socketed crystals and stuff and cores that it's going to be pretty easy. There will be a difficulty meter that you can do to multiply the amount of pointage you get, just like the Hypostasis Cube event that we had before. You don't need all the points, but if you are extremely bored in Genshin and want more content, you could always try to go for all the modifiers turned on expert difficulty. You can see here that you are also going to get a free Diona. So for people that cannot get Zhongli, you can always use Diona as a substitute. The other event that's going to be available is going to be the Misty Dungeon event, where this is kind of content that I've been looking forward to in Genshin, and a step in the right direction, or a tiptoe in the right direction, where it's a dungeon type trial rather than like those Abyss domains that we've been doing, where you activate the node and then the monsters just all fly at you. The units that are given to you, I believe, are pre-made, and you can't just use whatever you want. There is going to be a pool that you can pick out of, and you're going to do various tasks to go through the dungeon. There's going to be these little traps that you're going to have to disable by using the opposite element, and you're going to have to proceed through the dungeon to get all the rewards. I don't expect these to be hard at all, but maybe in the future they could create co-op versions that are hard and require you to have a little bit of teamwork, just like raids in a lot of MMORPGs. This next event I'm going to keep very brief. It's basically going to be you dealing with Elon Musk to do a little bit of hilly trail investigation and hunting down, and you're just going to get some rewards at the very end of it, like some housing blueprints, as well as Primo Gems, Mora, and EXP books. Now, the last big event of 1.5 is going to be a multiplayer event where it's going to be a hide and seek or prop hunt put into Genshin Impact. It's going to have 4-player maximum of 1 hunter and 3 hiders. These hunters and hiders are going to have various abilities to be able to avoid each other. If you're familiar with Gmod hide and seek or prop hunt, you're going to be able to turn into abilities or turn into objects as hiders, and hunters are going to be able to move a lot faster. There's other abilities also available during this game mode, and I do think people will enjoy it because it is a sort of PvP co-op based thing. You can play with strangers or play with friends. And really quickly, there will be a mini filler event that is going to occur during 1.5 where it's going to let you have double talent book drops for 3 runs. You can only use original resin, so it's basically going to be an extra 60 resin per day, similar to how we had a leyline overflowing event that doubled your drops for about a week, with only using original resin and 3 times per day. One change that is coming to 1.5 is when you co-op domains and other resin-based events, you are going to get double friendship XP. It's kind of funny that in the live stream, they don't even show the friendship XP because it's cut off over here on the left. Alright, the last 2 things that are going to be added in 1.5 is that they are going to be sending out mail whenever an event is going to be ending to remind you to finish up your tasks and collect all your rewards in case you have forgotten. The other thing that is going to be done is that you are going to be able to remove languages from the game to reduce the file size, because one huge issue to why there is not new content being added to Genshin habitually is because new permanent content is because the file size is too big for mobile users typically. Alright, that's going to be all for this video. As you guys see here, 1.5 is a lot more jam-packed with content than 1.4, so we will be heavily playing Genshin on our stream. We'll be testing those new Phys builds with the new characters, those new artifact sets, fighting those new weekly bosses, the new world bosses, as well as the new Abyss, and testing a lot of different compositions in that Abyss to see what works and what does not. The events do look pretty good, especially compared to a lot of their old reskin events. Some of these are breath of fresh air. The new housing system seems a little bit useless, but I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy that. They'll also enjoy those new story quests and the hangout events. If you guys did enjoy the video, please do consider leaving a like, comment down below what you guys think about 1.5 and your favorite thing in 1.5. Join our Discord to be part of our Genshin Impact community. Follow me on Twitch if you guys want to watch Genshin Impact related content, especially if you guys need help with teams, build progression, and Abyss, or if you guys just want to talk about Genshin related things. Subscribe on the YouTube if you guys want more Genshin guides and news, and make sure you guys follow me on Twitter for Genshin promo codes, news, guides, updates, reminders, and a lot of other Genshin related things. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!